No correspondence. Now move into reports of municipal officers. First off will be Brian Carey, our Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have two items to bring to Council's attention this evening. First off, in your packages, you have a proposed motion for Council's consideration on the Energy East Pipeline project as proposed by TransCanada. The proposed motion was as a result of conversations that Council, or I should say the Committee of the Whole, has had on the subject matter, also subsequent to a petition that was submitted to Council. And the motion was prepared in light of the direction given at the December 2nd Committee of the Whole that staff prepare a motion, and I believe Councillor Sutton has that motion for your consideration.
Yes, I do. It's moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Finnerty. Be it resolved that, whereas TransCanada has recently announced the development of an oil pipeline project known as the Energy East Pipeline, stretching 4,500 kilometers and carrying 1.1 million barrels of crude per day from Alberta to refineries in eastern Canada. And whereas a major component of the Energy East project includes the conversion of an existing natural gas pipeline to an oil transportation pipeline, of which a portion is located in the municipality of North Grenville. And whereas the National Energy Board is mandated by the federal government to promote safety and security, environmental protection, and economic efficiency in the Canadian public interest for the regulation of pipelines, energy development, and trade. And whereas the Minister of Energy for Ontario announced on November 13th, 2013, that the Ontario Energy Board will undertake public consultations and complete a report for Ontario's Ministry of Energy on the proposed Energy East Pipeline. And whereas Council and the residents of the municipality of North Grenville need to understand the environmental impacts of this project, including, but not limited to, our drinking water, land, and associated risks to the Rideau River system, a UNESCO heritage site, prior to submitting our views and concerns to the Energy Board on the Energy East Pipeline project. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of North Grenville has taken the position that it is premature to provide any substantive comments regarding the project until TransCanada clearly demonstrate to the residents of this community that the Energy East Pipeline project will meet the highest available technical standards when it comes to public safety and environmental protection, and will implement, without reservation, cost-cutting contingency planning and emergency response programs, and further, that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Prime Minister of Canada, the National Energy Board, Federal Minister of Natural Resources, Premier of the Province of Ontario, Provincial Minister of Energy, Leeds Grenville MP, Leeds Grenville MPP, and Sustainability North Grenville.
Thank you very much, sir. Council, you've heard the resolution. Is there any comments or questions re the resolution? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Carried. No notices of motion. Now, periods of questions from the public and media relating to agenda items. Is there any questions? Yes, sir. You wish to come up here? Your name, address, and postal code, please.
Thank you. I'm Ian Angus. I'm 459 Denison Road, K0G1J0. And I'm here as a representative of Sustainable North Grenville. We had been under the impression there might be an opportunity for us to say something before the resolution was passed. That was a misunderstanding on our part, I assume. But I do want to make a few comments, and I would want to express the hope that there will be a way to amend or at least to add to this resolution at some point in the future. To begin with, we think the resolution is excellent. We're very pleased that we have had some role in encouraging Council to address this issue, and that Sustainable North Grenville has had some impact here. So we're very pleased about that, and we thank you for the thought and consideration you've given this matter. Our concern here, and it's in part a concern, part a question, is that the way the resolution is worded, you end up not being able to do what the resolution says. Because the way pipeline regulation occurs in this country, the only way that you can get a commitment out of TransCanada to provide what you quite correctly want here is by participating in the hearings that go on. Outside of that framework, nothing they say is mandatory. And outside of that framework, there is no way for us to express the concerns officially to the oil industry and to the regulators. And so we were surprised to see that the resolution did not include a provision that the municipality would decide to participate in the provincial hearings and the NEB hearings. We didn't ask you to take a position, and you haven't done that here, but in order to get the commitments that you want, North Grenville would need to be represented at those provincial and federal events. So our concern was that that is not in this resolution. We'd like to know why, if it's just an oversight or if that was thought through. And we would hope there would be some way for the municipality to make a decision to participate in those events in the coming year. There will be some time in the next probably 6 to 9 months.
Thank you very much. When you say there isn't any input, we also have input through our NP, our local MP, our local MPP. I think the way I look at it, I believe that this council, not this council, the new council will be sitting on and making presentations to the National Energy Board. At this point in time, though, I think it's inappropriate for this council to tie the hands of the new council, and I would presume, and I use the word presume, any council will definitely want to make presentations to the National Energy Board. But I think, in my opinion, this is what it comes down to, tying the hands of a new council. But in my impression, and I could be wrong again, that a number of councillors will be present from the old council onto the new council, and then there will probably within the early mandate of the new council, they will come forth with a resolution to make presentations, because basically it's just the application in the second quarter of 2014, and Ian, you know how this goes. It'll be late 2015, early 16, before everything gets up and running. And
That's very encouraging. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Councillor Butler.
Yeah, I would just like to add to that and to kind of recap. As a councillor, I did attend the September the 18th meeting that Sustainable North Grenville had. I recapped what I thought was 10 questions. I did have your letter and your 8 questions, and then I attended on behalf of council the pipeline meeting on October the 2nd. When I come in, I introduced myself as a councillor, and I said I want to talk to the most important person in the room from there. And I did go over your concerns, the 10 questions that come out of your meeting on September the 2nd, and I gave them a draft of your letter with your eight questions at that meeting, and asked for them to get back to me. I did get a letter as late as yesterday from Eastern, the pipeline people. And so I'm sure that's one of the reasons that they have asked for an extension, to make sure that all the questions across the 4,400 kilometers of pipeline that it will travel from each community, to make sure that these questions are answered. And like other councillors, I have a complete full file on the issue, and it will be kept open until we do make a presentation in front of the pipeline people and follow the procedure.
Thank you very much. Any further comments? Yes, Councillor Tobin.
I'm not ignoring you. I was not just playing around with things. I was just kind of looking through the hearing process here, and it's just in bullet points. So perhaps I can ask the CAO as we go through forward, or as the forward process moves, once the application is put together, that the hearing process, which is quite extensive, they have a number of bullet points, you can just update us as to that timeline. And I think probably the mayor's right that it might not be until the next council at the stage we're at now, but I'm just looking through, there are a number of stages and hoops to happen here, even before they set the table for the meetings that will include anyone that's interested in participating.
Thank you, Councillor. Through you, Your Worship, to Councillor Tobin and the rest of Council. We're cognizant of the process as established under the National Energy Board, and we're also quite familiar with the Minister of Energy's request for a report from the Ontario Energy Board. We're also familiar with intervener status and what that brings forward through that process through the National Energy Board. And we will certainly keep ourselves informed on the status of the application and of that process. But I think it's also worthy to mention that as a municipality, our working relationship with TransCanada has been very, very transparent. Every piece of information that we request, we receive. And I have no reason to believe that these environmental reports and such that will be prepared as part of their submission, that we will also have an opportunity to receive them directly from TransCanada. So based on that front, as well as the process through the National Energy Board, we'll keep Council informed.
Thank you very much. Any further comments? Seeing none, thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir. If you wish to come down, your name, address, and postal code, please.
Is that good? Okay. Chris Weisflog. Also, I'm with Sustainable North Grenville. I live in Montague right at the current time. I moved out from being a resident here for over a decade. I am a business owner here in North Grenville, and that's going to be the same way for some time yet. I'm speaking clearly not as a resident here of the town at the present time, but as a business owner here, and as someone who speaks on behalf of other people with similar interests for Sustainable North Grenville. What I would like for you to do, perhaps, Councillor Sutton, because you introduced the motion, is the last paragraph on the first page, now therefore it begins. Could you put that into clear layman's terms? Because when I read it, what it sounds like to me is we accept the NEB and what they're saying. We'll put our trust in them. Because what I'm hearing as well from the discussion that has followed the last question is that this council intends to do nothing except to let the process take its place and not to get involved in NEB hearings. But I'm slightly confused on that because the discussion in the last moment on this side of the room has moved towards potentially getting involved in NEB, and that if there's another council that's elected in the interim, then that'll be up to them, because you don't want to tie their hands on the issue. So what I'd really like to know is, what is the action that has been proposed here? I want to hear it clearly. And I want to know what your intention is. If NEB does stand up and this project is proposed while this council is still in sitting, are you going to consider representing our community, this community, at the NEB?
I think right off the bat, and council could come up with any other comments, but I would say the answer is yes. We would put for convener status on the hearings.
Okay. So then could this be amended, therefore, to state that intention clearly, that we do intend to, if this project comes forward, because it has not yet been proposed, and therefore there is no NEB sitting on it, but when it does come forward, that we intend as a community to represent the interests of our constituents, to look after their interests.
Well, what happens is, as I said, they stated that they're coming forth in the second quarter, just for an application permit. And as you know, or maybe you don't know the way the Energy Board and any other government agency is set up, it's anywhere from a year to a year and a half before they even convene the meetings, and that will be, sir, a new council. And as I said, I wouldn't want to tie the hands of a new council, but I presume the new council will be made up of older council members too, which will be bringing forth this motion to be a convener on the Energy Board hearings.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I would ask our CAO if he knows the time window he has from the pronouncement of a project to getting your submission in for intervener status. I believe it's a very short period of time. What, 6 weeks? 6 weeks. It could very well happen within the lifetime of this council.
If that happens, our MP will be on side with us.
Will he represent us at the NEB?
Well, he's very confident. I would be asking for his advice totally, definitely in a situation like that.
Okay, well, my opinion only, but no one represents one's interest better than oneself. Anyway, my recommendation is to amend and include in the resolution that Council would intend to go forward to the NEB or would revisit the situation as the project comes up in such time. Because as it stands right now, when I read this, it doesn't say anything more than, when I read it, that we trust the NEB to look after our interests. Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Mayor, if I might just add to that, what we do say in here is that that we expect that the project will meet the highest available technical standards when it comes to public safety and environmental protection, and will implement without reservation cost-cutting contingency planning and emergency response programs. So I think that that speaks very, very highly. We have engineers that are trained to do all kinds of different work. I'm sure that they'll be examining this pipeline situation to find out exactly what the circumstances, what the condition of that pipeline is, if it can be updated or upgraded or changed, the utility purpose of that project changed to meet the requirements or the request of the Energy East Pipeline project. And I think that we have engineers build the bridge that goes across goes across the Rideau River on Highway 416, and there's all kinds of different products that cross that bridge every single day without issue and without problems. And I'm sure if you can build bridges, that you can build pipelines as well to make that happen. So that's just my 2 cents worth.
Okay, thank you very much. Any further questions? How about the media? None at all? Okay, no further questions. Do we have a resolution re-adjournment?
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Butler. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of Council adjourn at 7:20 p.m. and that the next regular meeting be held January 13th, 2014 at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you very much, Councillor, for the resolution. We'll call the vote. All in favor? Carried. And we'll be moving into a committee of the whole.